So hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now today I've got something quite special. Is this another beta product from China? But these are the wheels from Elite. You've seen Elite on my channel before. The first review I did for them was their road wheel set, the drive. I gave them quite a roasting actually because the hubs had a few issues on those, I think. But since then they've come on a long way and they've really done their R&D, and they're not such a kind of beta get it out the door quick company. They do their testing. I've tested the Pro 36 29er wheel set, which is more the kind of XC and trail oriented wheel set. I was riding that for a good 6 months through all conditions, battered it with rocks, and it's still going strong. We've got their own hub, their own rim. Elite own their own factory. And yes, this might be sounding like an advert to you. I'm unusually upbeat because I'm actually really happy to put, you know, a good review out for this product. I think they've done really well. Like I said, Elite own their own factory. They've been making rims for over a decade and they own the manufacturing process of the carbon rims. These fit into the range of being slightly more gnarly than the Pro 36er wheels that I had. So these are kind of trail, all mountain, even enduro, and they even rate these for e-bikes. Now you can see on the rim here, around the spoke holes, they're actually quite heavily butted on the rim. There's like, I think 38 layers of carbon around the spoke holes, and which is why you've got these built up layers of reinforcement around the spoke holes. That's really nice to see. And they don't need an eyelet like a lot of enduro rims do, and that's how they get the strength. I've not had any issues with these wheels, and it's quite rare for me to say that on a wheel review. Been riding them for about 4 months, all conditions, mainly on this bike. I have ridden them on my enduro bike as well, but they're my go-to wheel set for this bike now for trail, sort of light enduro, I would say. I probably would steer away from them using them on the downhill bike. Obviously they won't fit on the downhill bike, well they can with some spacers, but if you get a really harsh rock strike on a carbon rim, it's either going to fend it off or it's going to crack. Now I've recently bought a DT Swiss 541 wheel set for myself for my downhill bike on the rear wheel, just because that's the most abuse a bike rim can take, is on the back of a downhill bike, just because you're hitting things so much harder and at higher speeds. And I've already dinged it. I dinged it on the first weekend riding it at Glencoe. If I had a carbon rim, it would have definitely cracked. So aluminium rims if you're going really heavy stuff, rocky all the time. But if you're doing light enduro or trail riding, these are my go-to because they're only 1,620 grams. The hubs are their own design as well. I really like the kind of faded anodizing on the hub shells. They're really nice. You can do that with 6061. You can't do that with 7000 series, which is really cool. The only thing I don't like is the free hub. Now most people are going to love that. Particularly, I don't like noisy free hubs. I think they're really chavvy. This one's got 320 points of engagement. I think there's 80 teeth and then 4 pairs of pulls. So somehow you get 320 points of engagement. And I think that's the second highest points of engagement hub on the market. Second to Industry 9. I think it's quite pointless actually. You just sound like an arsehole. If you're riding them on a full suspension bike, it actually makes pedal kickback worse at slower speeds if you've got high points of engagement. And you'll find that the idiots that ride high engagement hubs are the same idiots that buy O-chains to decouple the engagement. It's a circle of idiocy, madness. Anyway, you don't get kickback on a hardtail, so I'm not bothered. I just don't like it being so noisy. If you're riding down busy paths and footpaths and you don't have a bell, it's quite handy to alert walkers that you're coming down. Anyway, it's quite a masterpiece, the hub. This is their own design. It's just the normal regular pull design, although it is quite special with the 80 teeth ratchet and the 8 pulls or 4 pairs of pulls or whatever. It's available in XD, microspline and HG. 6 bolt rotors, the best. Don't need to faff around with center lock on mountain bike, come on. And yeah, the other best thing about this wheel set is Sapim CX Ray, my favourite spoke as you'll know, and Sapim secure lock nipples. Now if you've ever built wheels on your own, you'll know that you should probably steer away from using DT Swiss squawked nipples because they're a pain in the arse. These last longer when they need to be trued up on a mountain bike. They don't seize, they don't go brittle, and the square on the spoke is much longer than it would be on a DT Swiss squawked nipple. So if you're truing them from the external side, which is what you're going to do because you set these up tubeless, you don't want to have to peel the rim tape off to true them from the inside. They're much easier to grab hold of with a normal spoke key than a DT Swiss nipple. Anyway, CX Ray, best spoke in the world, best fatigue life of any spoke in the world. And yeah, super easy to live with this wheel set. They are 30mm internal, I think 37mm external. Now if you treat them right and you don't ride them in stupidly rocky terrain and thud the back wheel down without inserts, they should be okay. I've not had any problems. I've been riding these solidly on this bike for about 4 months now. I just wish they had the other style of free hub, like the DT Swiss style free hub, like the Pro 36ers. At 1600 grams or just over, I think these are 1630. Come rim taped, come with everything you need, and yeah, they are pretty good value for a carbon wheel set, 939 USD. Now, I am happy to provide a discount code for these. As you know, in the past, I've not provided discount codes. In the last wheel set video I did, it got roasted. This is as independent as I can be, this channel, and I'm happy to put my name to this. So the discount code I'll put here on screen, and you'll get a nice, well, quite a reasonable discount with these. So good job, Elite. I'm actually pretty chuffed, and I hope I don't ding these too badly on rocks, but yeah, really, really impressed with this. And I love the finish of these wheels, the kind of gunmetal titanium paint over the carbon. So there's no exposed visible carbon. It's a painted surface. It's sort of dark titanium or gunmetal metallic. It looks really, really good. And the hubs look super premium as well. So I'll put in some close-ups of that. And also shout out to Voice Cycling, one of the most unique bar bags I've ever used, with a boa dial on the side, keeping everything really tight inside, no shakes or rattles. That's how I bought that camera up today to do this on this ride. You'll see more of this stuff and all the stuff that I get first on my Patreon, and sometimes I put a bit on Instagram. So if you want more details about this, head over to my Patreon. Give us some support for the channel if you want. If you don't, that's fine, but fuck you. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next one.